this back a little bit. So today we're going to pick up where I left off at yesterday. We was talking regarding the Freemasonry and Greek fraternity. I didn't have an opportunity to check out what Brother Aries was saying in regards to he was going to inbox me. I can't confirm if he did or didn't because I hadn't checked my inbox. But however, I will say this to those brothers who hit me up via messenger and they sent it to me uh, to see, and I can see that. I just consider Freemasonry to be downplay the Greek fraternities at all. It is clear to say that when you are invited, you are knocking at the door of Freemasonry. Strength cannot be all. Only speak for what we do here. Is that there's something that can see on with that, but hey, with that, but but greetings to everybody who's coming in today. I discussed minutes ago that I was greetings to everybody who's coming in today. I discussed minutes ago that I was proven to that in some rituals it states fraternity, whereas my ritual it says society. So and it's what uh who was going to inbox me some more information. I have not checked my inbox, so I cannot verify whether he did or did not send me that information. But I would definitely check. But but in my own opinion, based upon my experience and everything I'm talking to you about is based upon that. And in my jurisdiction, what we do here is clearly says that Freemasonry is that honorable society. There's no other organization like it. Uh, to try to duplicate it, but it can be done because in order for you to understand the aspect of Freemason, you have to join its ranks. You have to go through the process of ritualistic initiation as far as your apprentice, your fellow craft, and master mason in order for you to get the real logistics of what you have just become part of. Greetings, everyone who's tuning in. I want to say I appreciate you. Please, while you're here, why don't you send your lodge a shout out, send your jurisdiction a shout out, and I certainly appreciate it. And please hit the like button for me. As we continue the discussion on this interesting topic as far as the Honorable Society of Freemasonry and Greek fraternities, I would clearly say that when one is interested in becoming a Mason, his moral standards, his character, everything about him has to be on par. That is not to say that the man is not flawless. That is clearly say that this man has clearly stepped his game up. Because what happens a lot of times in this journey, when one begins to enter into the craft of Freemasonry, they should already be on a solid foundation because it's going to take some time out of your day, out of your schedule, in order to get the logistics and get a better understanding of the craft. You're going to have to find time to study and have a better understanding of the craft. What's up, brother Isaac Hunt? How you doing? Appreciate you. Rand D, how you doing? Knowledge of self is definitely on board with that. And what we have done a lot of times is that we don't we don't dedicate any time to the actual study and logistics of Freemasonry. A lot of times brothers who come into the craft, they're just happy to be a Mason. Let's just be honest about it. I'm happy to be here amongst the brothers, but they don't dedicate any time into understanding the craft and really how it works. Masonry has a system. Hear me clearly. Freemasonry has a system. The Greek fraternities have a system, but there is no other system like that of Freemasonry. Now, the Greek fraternities, they may come close, but there's no other system like Freemasonry. And the reason I say that is because within the confines of Freemasonry, the oath, the obligation, and what binds us together as a whole, unlike Greek fraternities, their obligation, their oath that they take is to their Greek fraternity. It is not to the whole. And that is truly the difference in the Honorable Society of Freemasonry and the Greek fraternities. That is truly the essence and the difference. When you look at Freemasonry in its wholeness, in the bond that in the bond within the obligation, within the oath that we take, then we can see the true essence of it. Became watered down over time. 1717 is not the inception. Absolutely. Anybody who knows and have actually put in some study, they will know that 1717 is not the inception of Freemasonry. It is the inception of a system where a Grand Lodge was developed. But the system of Freemasonry has long been around, hidden within the other organizations. Freemasonry, as we know it today, is soon going to fade away. It's going to come back as something else with the same symbols, signs, and understanding that we now have today. It's going to be under a different name. Just as we know it today as Freemasonry, long ago it was not known as Freemasonry. So I do agree with you, because Freemasonry, it is it is a different beast. It's different. It is not like other fraternities. It is not. Every other fraternity is based out of Freemasonry and what we know about it today. Absolutely. From the modes of recognition or moves of recognition, from the Q&A, all of that is taken from Masonry. Now you have to ask yourself, where did this originate from? If you know anything about religion, you would know that in the Catholic religion, they have a ritual for Q&A. If you know anything about the Catholic religion, they actually have a Q&A, a questions and answer in regards to their doctrine. Also, in other religions, denominations, they have the same, where they would actually Q&A one who's part of the same denomination. All of that has deriven, from my understanding and what I've read, out of Freemasonry. Because within the confines of Freemasonry, you will find the logistics of everything. Because when you begin your journey into Freemasonry and you go through your EA degree, that second degree that you are now about to go up the winding stairs and enter the holies of holies, there's something different in regards to that second degree, unlike the first and definitely unlike the third. Because this is where you begin to apply the knowledge that you've learned in the first degree. There is no holds bar in the second degree. Hear me clearly, there is no holds bar. That means that the door is open unto you. That means that everything in the second degree is preparing you for the Master Mason's work. Unlike Greek fraternities, once you have crossed over, once you've gone over, that's it. That's a wrap. Within the confines of Freemasonry, that's not it. That is not it. Although most people would say the third degree in Freemasonry is the ultimate degree, there's no more. I tend to differ. At once upon a time, I thought that way. I was like, hey, Master Mason, that's it. But as I began to go York Rite and go Scottish Rite, and then other dependent degrees outside of that, such as the Shriners, or even the degrees I've just recently received under the tutelage of Brother Raymond Edwards, which is I can't even think of it right now. It's a dual jurisdiction of the Moorish rites. Okay, even within those degrees, that to me enhances Freemasonry. We just got to stop looking at Freemasonry as just those first three degrees. Although I get it, I understand it, but when you're looking at the foundational structure of Freemasonry, yes, those first three degrees lays it out. It's beautiful. It's intact. Now, let's go a little higher. Let's take a look at this organization from a higher point of view, such as your York Rite, which introduces you to a different perspective on a religious course, such as the Scottish Rite introduces you to a philosophy and dealing with life issues. And there are degrees outside of that, which we call alliance degrees, and some organizations have those additional degrees that go all the way up to the 96. In some cases, you may find Grand Lodges that only deal with 1 through 33. You may say, well, how's that? How can a Grand Lodge deal with 1 through 33? They have been around for a long time. And I like to point out the Supreme Council of Louisiana is just one very old Supreme Council that deals with 1 through 33. There's the National Scottish Rite. They deal with 1 through 33. So there's quite a few different jurisdictions that deals that way, and that's their structure. I never ever want to knock on somebody's structure and how they do their work. That's none of my business. My thing is to take what I know, apply it, share it because I can't take it with me, but share it so others may go and look for themselves and see how Freemasonry has helped a lot of various societies to, to evolve. Hear me clearly. Freemasonry has definitely helped a lot of different societies to evolve. And this is one of the reasons I call Freemasonry a society, not just because it's in my ritual, but because of its influence that it has had on our society. And anyone that tells you that Freemasonry has had no influence on our society has truly lied to you. You just need to just look around at all the great ones who've come through the doors of Freemasonry. It is not about their jurisdiction, however, it is about the mere fact that these individuals, be them black, white, Filipinos, or whatever their nationality may be in the background, they have chose to walk through the doors of Freemasonry. Just as it is stated in the Masonic rituals, that as many and brothers and fellows have done this before me, it doesn't give a race or nationality behind it. And that is truly the beauty of Freemasonry, unlike any other fraternity, unlike any other organization around. Freemasonry bears that fruit. I'm not here to say that everyone in Freemasonry is a good guy. I'm not going to say that because I've come across individuals who are Masons that I will not have any dealings with. Brothers have a lot to study to understand the system. We do our lights and brighter. Oh yeah. So when you look at this thing we call Freemasonry, if you're truly in tune with it, I mean truly in tune with it, it's a whole nother ballgame. The system itself is beautiful. It is just those who governs the system. And when I say governs the system, I'm clearly saying that those Grand Lodges, whomever it may be, whom governs their jurisdiction, they have set up rules and regulations for their Grand Lodge. But when you look at the totality, the whole of Freemasonry, it goes beyond that. You can set up any protocol. You can set up any constitution. You can set up whatever you want to set up. But when it comes to the pureness and the essence of Freemasonry and those ancient customs that have been laid upon us, it's a different thing. Because you have taken an oath that binds us on a no less penalty through all of the degree work. See, one thing I can say about Masonry from what I've gathered, what I've enjoyed, what I've learned, is that it's going to teach you about death. It's going to teach you about resurrection. And you may be saying, well, how did we go from the Honorable Society of Freemasonry and the Greek fraternities, and you bring that subject up? Because in the totality, in the beauty of Freemasonry, it's a life journey. It is something that you're going to be able to take to apply to assist and aid you along that journey. Whereas in the Greek fraternity, it's a brotherhood. I get it. It's honorable in its own way. I get it. And it's fun to be part of. I like it. Unlike Freemasonry, it's the system that is built to carry Freemasonry and the foundation for which it's on. It's different. You have to be a member to understand and to kind of grasp what I'm saying, because if you haven't been there, you're gonna be like, oh, this guy right here, no, but it does. I mean, because The individuals I've met on this journey, although there are some I wouldn't want to meet anymore, for the most part, I'm talking about 90%. It's great. I'm talking about even in the South. Let me clear the air on that. Even in the South, I have met Masons who really up, uphold themselves to that oath. I mean, really. And you can say whatever you want to say about not being able to visit or amity or whatever. Individually, I'm talking individual who are Masons and true to the craft. That's where Masons exist. They don't, Masons don't exist necessarily in your Grand Lodge, although that's where they're made, but they exist outside of that. And that's where Masons meet. You'll catch that on the way home. That's where they meet. Outside of all of your protocols of your Grand Lodge, outside of all of your uh, 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 issues that you may have, Masons meet on the outside of that. That's where you find the true essence of the Honorable Society of Freemasonry. Unlike any other jurisdiction, unlike any other fraternity, it's a beautiful thing when brothers are able to reach out beyond their Grand Lodge and build relationships based upon the oath and obligation that they have taken. Okay? Based upon that alone, they build a relationship. They build a mutual respect for each man that is part of this great society of Freemasonry. It's different. See, being a Kappa doesn't go to a Alpha's meeting. An Alpha doesn't go to an Omega meeting. Okay? Those are singular Greek fraternities. Masonry in its whole, Masonry in its whole, oh my Lord, man. When we fellowship together, when I say we, I'm inclusive of all. When we truly fellowship together beyond your Grand Lodge and their rules that they have laid down and said this and that about other jurisdictions, when we truly fellowship, you find the true essence of Masonry within that fellowship. You build on that because I have personally built relationships with brothers from a lot of various jurisdictions and Grand Lodges. I have done that. And that's the beauty of it all. When brothers reach out to you from across the waters, from Scotland, from every place else, and they said, brother, you know, how you doing today, blah, 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 they inbox. Man, that's the difference. And if you're going to continue to look at Masonry as this little play toy and not really take it seriously, you shouldn't even be looking to be a Mason. You shouldn't. I was with a dear brother of mine on Sunday. He's part of Grand Lodge Estate, and we was talking in regards to the bond of Freemasonry and what that bond looked like. And both of us decided to say, man, look, although these are the things that the Grand Lodges have placed and have placed in session and said this and said that, the essence of the essence of Masonry goes beyond that. Because I know I've been places and met Masons who have given me master wages. Okay? Hear me clearly. And I know many of you have been places who have met Masons who have given you master wages, and they were not part of your jurisdiction. You didn't know anything about their background. But however, what you knew about them is that they had walked through the door of Freemasonry. What you knew about them that they had been initiated, passed, and raised. What you knew about them is that you knew that about them. And understanding that part about them, you considered them to be a man about their words. You considered them about the bond that you had, unlike Greek fraternities. I have a relationship, but I don't have a bond. I have a relationship with various other Greeks, but I don't have a bond. That's the difference. We can go back and forth and say, oh, Freemasonry is a fraternity. Great. You can go back and say, well, it's a society. Great. But the bond is what separates us from any Greek fraternity. It's the bond. It's the oath that we take. It's the penalties of each one. Each oath that we take gets more severe, and you have to understand the severity of the oath. So, I want to say thank you for hanging out with me today. And I can go on about some stuff, but look, it's been great. It's been fun. I want to wish you and your family a great day. It's kind of an overcast today, but it's still a beautiful day. And I want to definitely let you know that I keep each of you in my prayers, okay? Because all of us stands in need of a prayer. Trust me. That's another thing. I got another show coming up, a great topic coming up on the ancestors. That's going to be deep. So until next time, peace and be well. Blessings to you and your family, and I'll talk to you later. Remember, I'm not your study guy, but I'm here to definitely help you study. I'm out.